Hello. Today's just going to be a short video. I'm going to be talking about some of the upcoming content for Deceit 2 that is just on the horizon, as well as a few things that have been teased in the past few weeks that some of you might not have seen. So as you probably know, the Vampire Terror is out, and they have already started talking about the next terror that's coming out. This is one of the old concept arts from like over a year ago at this point. This terror's image here. So of course now we have the experiment, and this concept art came out before the werewolf and before the vampire, and now we are aware of the next terror coming out. That will be this monkey right here. As you also might see, there is a fifth terror in this picture, what we believe to be the spider terror. As you may know or might not know, there is a spider terror in Deceit 1. Along with the spider, we of course have the original experiment, as well as the original werewolf, and the original vampire. The thing that is special about this though is that there was no Deceit 1 monkey terror. So this is the first terror that is going to be a brand new concept. As the first three were reimagined versions of their Deceit 1 counterparts, this monkey is going to be completely new, at least from what I'm guessing at. Now there was one more terror in Deceit 1, the Yeti terror, and that is not on this concept art. So I wonder if this Yeti has been reimagined in some way as the monkey terror, if the monkey might get some sort of similar abilities to the Yeti in Deceit 1. If you don't know, the Yeti used to be able to activate its ability to have a temporary light shield basically. But that does make me wonder if that ability was just used when making the experiment and his light block ability, as the experiment's ability in Deceit 1 was to make a clone of itself. I do think it might be interesting to see some of that in a new terror, whether that's in the monkey or someone else. We will see, as this is not just an ordinary monkey, this is a circus monkey called the Morgus. So it's very likely that it will have some type of ability that is like a trick or a magic act, something like that. Again, I am just speculating, as there hasn't been too much official word on this, but again, next season, season 4, is coming out in, I believe, under a month at this point, and the devs plan to release the Morgus and the new map on season 4 release, so we're probably going to be getting more information on this soon. Now, something else that has just came out recently, we got a sneak peek at the new map with some interesting concept art. A carnival map or a circus map has been suggested and asked for since very early on in Deceit 1, and it's awesome seeing that finally come to life. It is probably one of the most requested types of maps, so I'm glad the devs were able to find a way to fit this into Deceit 2. And again, like the monkey terror is completely new to Deceit, so is the map. The previous 3 maps were definitely new and don't feel like the counterparts, but they were definitely inspired by them. Of course, the asylums in both games. Then we have Project Wergen, which is likely influenced by the Arctic map and all the inside sciencey bits. And then we get the Blackthorn Manor, while we also had a manor map in Deceit 1. We have never had something like this, a circus. So again, I'm very excited. I really hope that there's some like interactive games or like interactive rides, even if that's possible. We will see. They will definitely be releasing some new images and videos soon. I really want to hear your thoughts on what you might think the Morgus's abilities are going to be. Knowing that it is a completely new terror, it's pretty hard to speculate, as a lot of these abilities from these terrors were repurposed from Deceit 1, like Werewolf's Howl or the Vampire's Teleports. We don't really have a lot to go off of. I'm just hoping we get some sort of ranged ability, whether that comes with the Morgus or probably what's more likely is the spider, as the spider in Deceit 1 shoots webs out. If you haven't played Deceit 1, you can probably imagine what the spider's ability like if you've played DBD and know the Death Slinger, like they shoot you and then pull you closer. That's kind of what the spider's web did. But again, we don't have a lot of information, but I am super excited. And last couple things I wanted to talk about, I want to go over their Trello for the roadmap of the game. You will see some of this stuff in Season 3 has just recently got added, like character voice lines and things like the friends list in the most recent update. And you will see for Season 4 they have the Season 4 pass, the new map, and the Morgus. But what is likely is a lot of this stuff on the side is going to be added to that Season 4. And escape sequence rework. This is something I'd be excited for. The escape sequence kind of doesn't feel too great to me, especially with it either being super quick and over in 10 seconds or super long and wasting everyone's time because someone might not want to let go of the key. So I'm super down for a rework. It's definitely needed it. A lot of people are also excited about ranked game mode. Ranked is something I was very familiar with in Deceit 1. I got top 10 about 6 times, and even though I played it a lot and played well enough to get top 10 that many times, I don't really like it. I think it takes a lot of the fun out of the game. If you're a frequent watcher of my content, you know I'm not super competitive, and I try to play with what is the most fun for me. I mess around a little bit, try to get people to not trust me even though I'm innocent. Stuff like that, I think it's fun. And with something like Ranked, I feel like it's going to tread that same path in Deceit 1, where every game just boils down to the meta, and everyone's told how to play and what to do, and sit still and watch altars, and everyone gets certain items or else you're infected. I don't really want to play that, but I do think that there are people who do like that type of gameplay, and I don't think it can really hurt to have a separate queue for that. Though I do think a lot of people that say they want ranked really just want skill-based matchmaking because they keep getting a bunch of new people, but that's a whole other issue. They also have stuff like audio on here. Please, I love audio fixes as a content creator, noticing for way too long that some of the audio is way too high and I have to always lower it in editing, and a lot of people's audio is way too low and there's no real way to fix that at a baseline. You have to manually go change everyone's audio level. It's a whole mess, and hopefully more audio fixes are to come. In-game emblems. This is something that was promised since before release and is still not delivered on, which is a bit unfortunate. Everyone who played Deceit 1 was promised to have their emblems transferred over to Deceit 2, and they were just never implemented, as well as people who beta tested and alpha tested the game were told they would get a special emblem for that, and everyone that got all 6 groups in Deceit 1 were also told they would get a special emblem, but it's nearing a year since release. This game came out in September of 2023. If you're on console, that may look a little bit later, but the game was out on PC for a long time before then. So I can just hope that that's out soon, but it's not too important. I know a lot of people would prefer they work on gameplay stuff, but for something that's been promised, I just want them to be able to deliver that to everyone that cares about that. These 3, blessing, daily rewards, and the boon system, are all things that were either planned or implemented in Deceit 1 at some point. The blessing or boon system, I don't know what the difference between those are, but I do remember a long time ago talking about potential updates to Deceit 1 is you would have different things that could change the game, like change what map you're on or change what your preferred role is, things like that, as well as things that would modify the game in some bit, whether that's changing the items in the game or like how the day and night works. Stuff like that was talked about but was never really implemented in Deceit 1, but I am intrigued at what they have planned for that for Deceit 2. Then of course we have Season 5 Pass, new innocent role. I hope it's something more along the lines of either Guardian or Warden, as of course we have the Inquisitor and Seer both being informative abilities. A new protection or killing ability would be nice for an innocent role. Map voting system would be very nice. I know a lot of people might not like certain maps, which is understandable. And something that's probably the most interesting to me is this says, introduce Legacy mod. Legacy is a version of Deceit 1 that was before all the big changes in 2020. And fans and supporters of this Legacy mode are small in number, but very vocal about about their love of that version of the game. And I can see why in some ways, and I disagree in other ways. I mean, I did put in, I think, 1,700 hours into Legacy version of Deceit before all the big changes, so I understand the hype around the original version of the game, but I don't really understand this in the context of Deceit 2. They are incredibly different games, different engines, different visual styles, different in just about every way, except for the concept of the game. So I don't really understand this. So I hope we get more information about that soon, or I'd be fine with this, not making it to the game. But yeah, it does seem like that's all that's currently planned for the game, at least in the immediate future. Well, there also is this. It has been said a couple times, I think in a Twitter reply that I saw, and also on their website, Worldmakers, the devs behind Deceit 2, they already seem to have plans in place for a potential upcoming game that is different from Deceit. So I am really interested in that. That's probably a few years out, but I've been playing Deceit since 2018. So it's coming up on 6 years of supporting this game and this company. Well, a few different companies, but mostly the same people I've been supporting for a long time. So I'd be super down for seeing something new from them. As of course they're a game company, they gotta make different games. So I'm hoping we get more information on that within the next year or so. But anyways, I'm gonna leave y'all on that note. What do y'all think about the Morgus terror? And I'd really like to hear some theories on abilities and what the map might be like, anything like that in the comments. But yeah, anyways, that's enough for now. Sorry for the slower Deceit 2 uploads recently. I made a community post on why that is. So again, thank you for all the support in this time, and thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it.